Hi guys, so we are continuing with the model of human behavior. So maybe you did the little test, and maybe you have a little understanding, a better understanding of what characteristic you have naturally. And again, it's important that you understand that you don't have just that. You have a little bit of everything. Yes, it's completely normal, but usually there is one or two profile that it's more dominant for us, and some aspect that it's on the opposite. So we call that like some characteristics that are more intense and some other characteristics that are less intense. So now we're going to go to a detailed description of every one of them so that you have a better understanding to find out like which one that you have that is more dominant for you, and a better understanding of people. Maybe you will recognize that there are some people that are working with you, maybe suppliers or maybe clients that have that profile, and it's going to be important to understand them better so that we can adapt our approach, the way we present ideas to them, the way we present solution to them in a different way. Because it's not true that we adapt ourselves. It's not true that we have to, that we treat people the way we like to be treated. In fact, we have to treat people the way they like to be treated. This is the best way so that we can get into an harmonious environment and a friendly and a more peaceful environment. And now this concept goes both ways. It's not just one person that adapts to the other. It's the other person that adapts to everybody at the same time. So let's start with the type D. So outgoing, oriented towards task. So if you want to remember, D for decisive, the doer, those are the people that will actually get into action and fast. So they think fast, they act fast, they are dreamers, they're visionary, they're dynamic, they are demanding, yes. Dominant, it's because they have their way of giving directive to people. This is where we're going. So you can just remember one or two words to remember that, okay, this person I can recognize, she's very directive, it shows. Now, if you look at the percentage of the population that are actually D type, it's 10%, so it's not that much. Or the person that we know that have that D type personality, well, Donald Trump, Dr. Phil, Hillary Clinton. So those are the people that, they need challenge. They need to have choices. They need to be in control. So obviously they will find work and position that they can use their strength. So normally, we naturally will look for things that are in association with our strength. Sometimes not. Sometimes people will make choices according to the salary or according to other people's wishes. But normally, and it would be best if you actually work in the majority of the time, like 80% of the time, in your strength and not in your weaknesses. What is important to understand is that each personality type, each profile, they all have strengths. Now, every strength push to an extreme become a weakness. How? It's because the way it's perceived by our environment, and because we don't live on our own together, we don't live by ourselves, and we don't work alone, and we work with people. We work, even if you are a solo entrepreneur, you would have clients. So it's important that we understand that our strengths and the way we are, sometimes if it's not control, it can be perceived as completely the opposite side. So a determined person, per example, could be seen as being angry all the time, cruel, or domineering, or dominating, or not emotional, or so. If we look at the strengths here, so a person, a D profile, yes, that person will be determined, will work independently, easily, will be practical, will be productive, will be decisive. They like to make decisions. They are confident naturally. They are courageous. They are goal-oriented. They will be quick to respond. They'll be direct. They're direct in their thinking, direct in their speaking, the way they speak, the way they respond. But again, out of control, it can be seen as being rude, being impatient, being pushy, being dictatorial. So it is important, if you are in this personality, to recognize that. Use your strength in a balanced way. Use your strength in a controlled way. D-type personality, what they like, if you want to, you have to deal with a client that is D-type, or a colleague, for example. So you want to give them a lot of responsibilities and challenges. That's what they like. They like to do things, so you give them things to do, things to think about. They like competition. Healthy competition is good. They can be critical. They can do an amazing amount of work, a lot of work. They tend to be in the leadership position. That's what they like. They could need to learn to delegate more because they like to be in control. They will have a tendency to do everything, and at some point have a lot on their plate. They are goal-oriented, intense, firm, self-confidence, and performance. Yes, they look for performance. They don't like when they are in an environment where there's no decision, like no decisions are being taken. They don't like when it's slow, whether it's an activity, whether it's a training activity, whether it's a meeting, whether it's a process in a project, when it's slow, when it's unproductive, when they don't see, action. It's tough. It's tough on them. So they like you to be, when you present an idea, when you present a project, when you present a solution, they like you to be quick, to the point, specific, driven to the goal, because it has to make sense, and productive. That's what they like you to be. So in summary, in any organization, Type D personality, who are dominant or direct or directive, enjoy making decisions, solving problems that can bring the organization towards a goal, a vision, or some results. Now let's go to I-type personality. So I-type personality: inspiring, influencing, impressive, interesting. Yes, they are interesting in people. They are imaginative, interesting people, and interested in people. They like to feel important. When you look at the red word, is that because we're going to talk about strengths and weaknesses. We talked about that already, actually. Strength and weaknesses that not in control can be seen, can be perceived completely the opposite. So because of the personality, because of the creative way of I personality, like being outgoing, out there, really dynamic, really enthusiastic, with ideas that comes out every second. For some people with a different type of personality, it can be seen as it's illogic. It doesn't make sense. So that's what it means. It doesn't mean that they are illogical. Percentage of the population, 25 to 30%, so a little bit more than the D-type personality. Who do we see? Well, Jim Carrey. Well, everybody, well, not everybody, but some people that are in front of other people, so that they like to make people laugh. They like to make people, to make a difference in people. They like to be recognized. They like to be seen. They like to perform in front of. So with and in front of. So what do they need? Recognition, approval. They want people to like them. They want people to say that, oh my God, what you did, what you said, it's good, it's nice, I like it, I go with you with that. So that's what they like. So if you look at what they're going to choose as profession and position, well, everything that has to do with being in front of people. Now, you are looking at coaches and you're probably going to say, hey, Nancy, that's who you are. Well, I'm going to tell you something. I am not. This was actually the I-type personality. The I profile is my weakness point. So amongst all the characteristics of the 4 personality type, the I was the lowest. So I had to develop a lot of those the I characteristic to be flexible and to become a good coach, actually. What are the strengths of I-type personality? Well, they are friendly, they are talkative, outgoing, enthusiastic, warm, fun. They look for fun. They'll say, you'll hear that saying that it needs to be fun. Now, like any other personality type, the strengths pushed to an extreme become weaknesses. So at some point, it can be seen as being loud, like the person that talks a lot can be loud, can be the person that has ideas like that comes up, like her creativity out of control can be seen as undisciplined, not organized, unstable. So you have to be aware of that. It's not because, so if you have that personality, it's important that you understand this. Now, if you see a person having this behavior, it's also important to understand that this is not the way she is. It could be a strength that is out of control, out of balance. So again, when we talk about strength, enthusiastic, persuasive, excited, so they'll be easily excited about an idea and about a project. So when you have a project, you want to involve them because they will help you to get people motivated. They like to be involved, they like to be engaged, they like to be friendly with people. And again, the opposite, can create some unbalance and some perspective that are negative. So we want to be aware of that. I-type personality, what they like to be with people. They like to have a lot of activities. They like to make people laugh. They like to inspire people. They like to be on the go. They like prestige, and they like to a short-term project. They don't like to be in a project where it's eternal, like it doesn't stop. Okay, they like to start, and at some point they like to finish quickly. So we're going to give them like short-term project. They enjoy making people happy. They have lots of friends. So basically what we have to understand is that they want to work with people. They want to influence people. They want to be in a position where they have that type of responsibility. They're fun to watch. They're great starters. They're likable. It's easy to get them engaged and motivated. So you want to have them on your side, definitely. What they don't like to be ignored, ridiculized, to look bad. So it's important how people see them, how people perceive them. It's really important. So they don't like to be pushed aside and be on their own and not being taken into consideration. And they want you to be fun and responsive and positive and upbeat and enthusiastic. So if you work with a person that is I-type personality, and you see that, that person is making a lot of effort so that you get into an upbeat a little bit, that's because that's what they want. That's what they inspire to create in an environment. So we want to have those people in our organization. So in summary, in our organization, when we have I-type personality who are inspiring, they love to interact with people so that everyone has a good time. Make sense? So you probably recognize people. Maybe you recognize yourself as being outgoing, people-oriented, inspiring, influencing, and liking interaction with people, and to a dominant degree. Okay, so yes, everybody would say at some point, yes, I do want that, but is it something natural in you that you absolutely need to do on a regular basis? If so, yes, this type is dominant. If not, then there's another type that could be dominant for you. Let's go towards the S type personality. So the S, the blue, represent the calm of the water. Plus and minus represent the peace, the calm, the everything is okay. They are supportive people. They look for stability, for what is secure, for the statu quo. They are people oriented, so they'll be sensitive to people. They want to be liked and they want to help people. They are sweet people. It's the majority of the population, 30 to 35%. And the people that we'll see having this type of personality will be people that want to serve. Like they have an ideal and they want to help people in some way. And we see Mother Teresa, Gandhi, Martin Luther King. So the needs basically is appreciation, but helping people, being liked by people, being appreciated by what they do to people and with people. They need also security and assurance that everything will be fine, because that's what they look for. Harmony, that's what they look for the most. So who are those people? S-type personality. Well, they will choose position and profession that are helping people. Nurses, technicians, secretaries, school teachers, diplomat, customer service representative, counselor. So you'll see a lot of people that help other people. Strength, same thing as other type of personality. The strength pushed to an extreme become weaknesses. But what are their strengths? They are calm, dependable. Yes, we can rely on them. They are easygoing, that's okay. You want them to do something, they'll do it. They'll say yes. Sometimes yes, they say too much yes. They say yes too often. And sometimes, they have difficulty to because they are easygoing and flexible. It can be to an extent be perceived as they cannot make a decision. But again, if we look at the strength, they are efficient, they are conservative, they like things to be done. If it's proven, that's what they go for. So yes, no, they're not going to like changes too much. If we look again at other strength, reliable, cooperative, yes, they like to work with people, good listener, absolutely, because yes, in fact, they are people-oriented, but they're not fast in talking, so they'll listen more, so it's awesome. Steadfast, soft-hearted, systematic, so again, out of control. If it's completely at the opposite of the scale, it can be perceived as negative. So a strength pushed to an extreme can be a weakness. They like S-type personality. They like peace. They like stability. They like teamwork. They like to finish the job. They like a friendly environment. They like to be liked by everybody, and they like to have fun with everybody and helping everybody. they consider, they like to, they are considering other people's feelings, and they want also you to consider their feelings. They will support you. They are sentimental, so if you are really, really rude with them, or you are really direct with them, they will take it personally. They'll feel bad about it. So you can start to see, opposite personality, how sometimes it can create conflict and difficulty. They are loyal friends, great finisher, compassionate people. They are concerned about how to start. How are we going to do that? They are concerned about that, and they're also concerned about how people will feel about that. They don't like when you're not sensitive to how they feel. They don't like sarcasm. They don't like to be pushed, because it's going to take time for them to get used to the way you want things to be done. They'll get there, don't worry. They don't like surprises. So if you have something to present, don't change things every day or several times a day. Just give time to present it in advance if you can, and just give time to get there. They will get there. Okay? They like you to be kind and pleasant and caring and gentle. So in summary, S-type personality who are supportive, they seek to maintain accepted routine so that they can make sure that everyone is comfortable. We're going towards C-type personality now. So maybe you recognize that, you have some S traits. Good, maybe a lot. That's okay. That's good. So now let's go with C-type personality. So the yellow representing the slow down. Normally at the light, we just slow down. Normally, that's what we do. And then the question mark is that we ask questions. We want to know how and how we're going to get there, and how we're going to make that project, and how we're going to reach that result that we want. So they are cautious people, careful, they calculate, they are critical, they have critical thinking. They like to do things in a correct way. There's one way to do things in the correct way. They look for what is conform. So what are the principles? What are the policies and procedure? What works? And they like to get into that. Again, when we look at cold, it's not because they are cold, but they can perceive to be cold because they are in their head all the time, and most of the time. It's not that they're not sensitive to other people, but they think first, and then they will think of other people afterwards. Percentage of the population, 20 to 25. So who are the people that are C-type personality? Well, everybody that has to use their thinking. So if we talk about Tiger Woods, for example, if you look at him amongst the other golf players, you can see, in his attitude, in his personality, that, he takes the time to analyze every stroke, and he look back and he talks about it, and he's really focused. You're not going to see him talking a lot and talking with other people. No, he's focused up until the end of his game. So that's it represents well a C-type personality. What those people like? They like quality answers. So the worst thing to tell them is that I don't know, or it depends, because they will look for deep and detailed and facts. That's what they're going to look for. They're going to ask a lot of questions to get a quality answer. They look for value, and they look for excellence as well. So they will make sure that the work that they do is well done. That's the reason why they'll take a little bit more time to do a good job according to their standard, according to their expectations. So C-type profile will obviously will find those type of people in bankers, bookkeepers, dentists. A lot of dentists with C-type personality, professors, scientists, physician, accountant. Okay, it does make sense because they use a lot of common sense and logic, and they need to be calculated and analyze things. Like the same other type of personality, strengths pushes to extreme becomes weaknesses. So the C strengths, they're analytical, perfectionists, look for perfection. It can be something negative when it's pushed to an extreme, because the perfection doesn't exist. So they may have standards and expectations that are not realistic. So it's important to understand that. Loyal people, self-sacrificing, they'll be really they'll self-criticize themselves as well, but they're really thorough. They'll follow, and they will follow to a T, a procedure. They will follow a recipe, no problem, if they believe that it will give them result and it will work at the end. Other strength is logical, yes, obviously. Curious, they will ask a lot of questions. Cautious, look for what is correct. Conscientious, really precise. And again, out of control can be seen as not being flexible, doubtful, unsocial, unsensitive. Okay, so those are all the behavior that we may see if their strength is not in balance and not in control. C-type personality, they like consistency, they like detail, they like excellent work, they like creativity, perfection, getting things right. There's a right way to do things, and they're going to look for it. They like thinking concept. They like asking a lot of questions. They like to understand. As you look at that, as I'm speaking to you, you probably see, for those people that know me for a long period of time, that yeah, it looks like Nancy. Yes, absolutely. This is my dominant side, C-type personality. They can be difficult to please in a way that because they may have standards, like I said, sometimes their strength, their standard, their expectation, if they want to push people to have the same expectation and standard as them, they can be seen as difficult to please because they see details that I don't see, and it seems that nothing is ever right. So I had to be careful about that. I noticed that. So that's the reason why I'm telling you, when you know that, you can be careful about it. So attentive to detail. So we will want to give them, everything that has detail, and we have to be like quality control, for example. We'll want to be given these tasks to C-type personality. It's easier for them, actually. They don't like to be criticized, so because they look for the right thing. When they decide to do something in a certain way, in their mind, it makes sense. So if in your mind it doesn't make sense and you start to criticize them, oh my God, it's really bad. It's really irritable for them. They don't like when things are not logical. Mistakes, obviously, yes, they want to avoid mistakes. At the same time, mistakes is normal. So this is something that I needed to learn, that mistakes is normal. I do make mistakes, and I needed to not get frustrated because I was making mistakes. Okay, so this is something, what I say, a strength is good. It's good to try to avoid mistakes, but at the same time, when we make mistakes and we get all fed up about that, all frustrated about that, that's a weakness. Okay, that's not good. That's not good for the environment. That's not good for the team. They want you to be C-type personality. They want you to be open-minded. They want to be structured. If you have something to present, you present something. If you have a C-type personality, dentist, doctor, and you present a new way of doing things, or you present a solution, or you present something to them, you want to be structured. It has to make sense. It has to be, you have to follow a certain procedure. It will make sense to them. So C-type personality in your organization that are really cautious, seek the facts and follow procedures so they can uphold principles. So they like to do things the right way, in an excellent way. They look at details. It has to make sense for them. So this is a summary of some characteristic of all the profile. What I suggest is that you just take a few of the characteristics of each and every one of them, so that you can recognize the person that you're working with, or that you recognize the dentist that you have to talk to or present something to, or recognize easily the people that you have to get into an interaction with. So just remember a few words, a few characteristics that make sense to you, and that will help you actually to ease the how to work with different type of personality. And that's going to be the next video, where I'm going to talk to you how do we, as a C-type personality, how do I work with a D-type, with an I-type, with an S-type? Because obviously we think differently, we don't have the same needs, and their needs are our mind, and my needs are not theirs, so I cannot oblige them to have mine. So now that I have a better understanding that we are different, how can I change, or how can I modify my approach when I am the person that present an idea to them, present a concept, or present a project to them? And at the same time, because everybody has the same information, you will also see other people adapting to your way of learning, and your way of doing things, and your way of making sure that it makes sense to you in your work and in what you have to do on a daily basis.